Viewers, the latest news about Ethiopia, Amhara, and Tigray region is that, viewers, according to the latest reports received from several sources, a heavy war is underway between the Afar forces, his allies, and Tigray Defense Force in the Afar region Zone 2. And according to the reports received by yesterday, the battle between the Ethiopian National Defense Force, its allies, and Tigray Defense Force was ongoing in Abala and surrounding areas for the last 3 days. But now, according to the latest reports, the fighting has spread across several areas of Afar Zone 2. And due to the fighting, hundreds of people are moving from Afar Zone 2 to Zone 4, and reports of several casualties are being received due to heavy fighting. Because according to reports received from Tigray Defense Force sources, Tigray Defense Force soldiers have spread to several areas, and the war is still going on. And there are reports that heavy airstrikes are being carried out by the Ethiopian Air Force through drones, and reports of deaths are being received due to airstrikes, and people are leaving their homes. Whereas on the other hand, according to the reports received from Ethiopian National Defense Force and Afar sources, Ethiopian National Defense Force and its allies are preventing Tigray Defense Force from moving towards in the Afar region. According to the latest updates, Assistant Secretary Molefi and newly appointed Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, David Satterfield, will travel to Saudi Arabia, Sudan, and Ethiopia from January 17th to 20th, 2022. While in Riyadh, Assistant Secretary Fee and Special Envoy Satterfield will attend a meeting of the Friends of Sudan intended to marshal international support for the UN Integrated Transition Assistance Mission to Sudan in its effort to facilitate a renewed civilian-led transition to democracy. Following the Friend of Sudan meeting, the Assistant Secretary and Special Envoy will travel to Khartoum, where they will meet with pro-democracy activities, women and youth groups, civil society, military leaders, and political figures. And their message will be clear: the United States is committed to freedom, peace, and justice for the Sudanese people. And finally, in Ethiopia, the Assistant Secretary and Special Envoy will follow up on President Biden's constructive phone call with Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on January 10th. They will encourage government officials to seize the current opening for peace by ending the airstrikes and other hostilities, negotiating a ceasefire, and releasing all political prisoners, restoring sustained humanitarian access, and laying the foundation for an inclusive national dialogue. Viewers, and according to T24 news website, Turkey's embassy in the Ethiopian capital of Addis Ababa has been moved to neighboring Kenya due to threats after the deployment of Turkish drones by the Abiy Ahmed regime to suppress the Tigray Defense Force. Although the Turkish government had not made an official statement regarding the sale of unmanned aerial vehicles to the Ethiopian government, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed had visited the country and met with President Recep Tayyip Erdogan twice in the past 6 months, and adding to the widespread belief that drones bought from Turkey, in addition to Iran and the United Arab Emirates, had changed the course of the civil war in Ethiopia. And journalists wrote in an article on the T24 news website today, Turkey's embassy in Addis Ababa cannot operate from the capital due to threats it has received. And the ambassador and several embassy staff are serving from neighboring Kenya. And there was no statement from the Turkish Ministry of Foreign Affairs on the matter. And the conflict that has been going on for over a year in Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous country and a linchpin of regional security, has left thousands dead, forced more than 2 million people from their homes, and pushed parts of the country into famine. And forces under Abiy Ahmed, the Ethiopian military, ethnic militias, and troops from neighboring Eritrea are fighting to oust the Tigray People Liberation Front from its stronghold in the northern region of Tigray. And in early November, the government tittered when fighters from Tigray surged south toward Addis Ababa, forcing the Prime Minister to declare a state of emergency. And foreigners fled the country and the government detained thousands of civilians from the Tigrayan ethnic group. But weeks later, Abiy Ahmed pulled off a stunning military reversal, halting the Tigray Defense Force march less than 100 miles from the capital, then forcing them to retreat hundreds of miles to their mountainous stronghold in Tigray. And he succeeded partially by mobilizing ordinary citizens to take up arms to block the Tigrayan advance. However, his fortunes were greatly boosted by a fleet of armed drones, recently imported from the United Arab Emirates, Turkey, and Iran, that pummeled the Tigrayan forces. And drones also hit refugee camps in Tigray and killed dozens of civilians, despite recent releases of political prisoners by Abiy, which prompted a phone call with US President Joe Biden. The prospect of a ceasefire seemed distant. But on the other hand, a video is received about the message of the village chief who considers himself a leader of Fano. So viewers, let's watch the video. Thanks for watching.
አሁን በተለይ አሁን እዚህ 3 አመት ውስጥ የታገልኩ ለዚህ አይደለም የደከምኩ ለዚህ አይደለም ወደ አባት ለመመለስ ነው እንጂ አባት አልባ ለመሆን አይደለም እንጂ እኔ እስላምና ክርስቲያን ባንድ አይኖሩም አይደለም ባንድ ነው የሚኖሩ እንዲያውም እኔ አሁን ዘንድሮ እንዲህ እንደናንተ ያሉ የሚሰጡኝ የሚረዱኝ ለኔ ብለው ለጠፋ ቤቱ ለተንከላታው ድጋፊውን ብለው የሰጡኝ አራት ወይፋፍኖች አጅሬ ላይ እንድል ያደረጉ እንኳን ደስ አላችሁ ላስደስት አራት ከብቶች ገዝቼ ሳረግ አንዱን ለሙስሊሞች አርጉልኝ ብዬ ሰጠው አይለያዩማ እስላሞች ልብስ ናቸው ክርስቲያኖች ጉርስ ናቸው እና እንዲህ ብለው ነው የሚኖር በኢትዮጵያ ስልጣን ግን መቼም በስልጣን በአልጋ ላይ ግን አይታወቅም ያልታወቀ እንዴት በእኛ ጊዜ መጣ የሚል እዚህ 3 አመት ወዲህ እንደተሰማኝ ያለ እኔ አሁን እንደነገርኳችሁ ቀደም እንዳልኳችሁ እንዴት ይሰውዬ ግን ደፈረ ለምን ነው ደፈረ ይያል